Welcome to Leaders of the West, a podcast for innovators and changemakers. I'm your host, Jessie Jarvis, the founder of the West, and I'm sitting down with agriculturalists, entrepreneurs, executives, and everyone in between with the goal of digging into the strategies, mindsets, and lessons that have been crucial to the success of ag and Western. Whether you're carrying on the next generation of your family's operation, starting something from scratch, or determined to climb up the leadership ladder, we're going to inspire you to continue to dream big, growing not just you, but the future of agriculture and Western as a whole. Let's go. Hello. Welcome to this week's episode of Leaders of the West. As always, I am very thankful to have you guys here. I am going to apologize ahead of time. If I sound a little funky or different, it's because I am on the tail end of a little cold, which I will say, I don't actually know that I've shared this, or maybe I have before. Actually, I do think that I've shared this back when we did the Q&A episode a few months ago, and somebody asked me what my daily routine is. However, if you guys are new around here, or maybe you're not new around here, but either way, I have a compromised immune system, and so I always get sick. I have been like that, obviously, the majority of my life, and I am very aware of it. But when my kids started school and daycare, any little germ they bring home, I am the first one to receive it. We could be talking on the phone. You could sneeze on the phone. I am going to get sick the next day. Like, it never fails. And I have taken vitamins. I have done all of the things. And I will tell you guys, back in October, on October 1st, I started taking Armor Colostrum. I have taken 1 scoop a day, literally every day since October 1st. I have never missed a day. If a kid comes home sick, I will take 2 scoops a day. Or if I feel like I'm going to be under the weather, I will take 2 scoops. In the last, 10 months, I have been sick, like seriously sick one time. And I have had a couple of colds, if you will. And my colds, when I typically get them, I always end up with a sinus infection. I have to go to the doctor. I have to get antibiotics in order to kick that thing. I don't want to have to go to the doctor. I do not want to be taking antibiotics. And I have not had that problem since starting Armor Colostrum. When I do get a little cold, like the one that I have now, they have lasted maybe like 2-3 days max, where I was normally like 10 days, 2 weeks. Finally, I'd go into the doctor. But yes, so the duration of my colds has been significantly less, and the severity of them. I am somebody like a cold will knock me down in bed for at least a day, and I'm absolutely miserable. And I have not had that since starting that colostrum. I do still take my daily vitamins, and I'm not going to tell you guys that the colostrum is like a one-stop fix, but I think combined with those vitamins, it has been amazing to the point where now that we are in the month where our kids are going to start school, I have actually started them on colostrum every day as well. I get the unflavored kind and I mix it in my large Yeti of water. I drink ice cold water. I mix it in there first thing in the morning. I have it out sitting next to our Keurig, so I never forget about it. I've just made it something that's really easy by putting it there where I see it every day, by doing it first thing in the morning. Like I said, I drink it with ice cold water. I'm not big on flavored stuff, so I drink the unflavored kind. If you guys have considered it, especially going into school season, where if you have kids, you know they're going to bring home germs, I am a believer. I did reach out to Armra, and I finally heard back from them, and they said that we could give you guys a code. So that is Jessie J. It will save you 15% off your order. When I first started Armra, I originally did 30 days of the single stick packs. I was also traveling at the time, so that's what was going to work well for me. And then once I determined that I liked it, ever since then, I have been buying the 3-month supply. So the larger jar or canister is what you would call it. And then I also still do buy the individual sticks, and I specifically save those for when I'm traveling, just because it makes it easier. So I take those, I take liquid IV or drip drop, one of the two. And I always make sure that when I'm traveling to stay hydrated and to stay healthy, to take those. But that's how I did it. I started out just to kind of test it, make sure I would like it with the 30-day single sticks. And then from there, I went up to ordering that larger canister, jar, container. I don't know what we want to call it, but anyways, that's how I do it. I'll make sure that we drop the link for that in the show notes as well as that code, Jessie J. But all of that to say, let's get to the real topic of today's podcast episode. And I want to talk about just the importance of knowing that it's never too late to learn something new or to try something new. We all have things that we want to do or we want to learn or try, maybe a new hobby that we want to start enjoying or, develop into our lives. What are we waiting for? I have a feeling I know what the answer is. It's because we don't want to look stupid. If you're worried about looking stupid and that's why you're not going to try something new, guess what? We all look a little silly when we're first starting out. But the more that you do something, the better you get at it. Or if you don't, then maybe that's the thing that makes you realize, I don't love this as much as I thought I would, and you go find something new. But do you know what actually is stupid? Not trying something new or not learning something new because you're worried or scared of what other people are going to think about you. That is absolutely ridiculous. You look stupid when you do that, which is ironic because that's the thing that you're trying to not do by starting this thing that you would really enjoy. Oh, I don't want to do it. I'm going to look stupid. Well, guess what? Okay, I have a couple of friends and they really embody this very, very well. And I want to tell you guys about them. I did not run this past them, but I think that there's a lot that we can learn from them. I just saw them in the last couple of weeks and we got to spend quite a bit of time together and just catch up on what we've been doing in the last 10 plus years. So I initially met this couple because I worked in their coffee shop in college. I worked there for 2 to 3 years and we became great friends. And that was really one of the greatest experiences because I learned so many lessons, especially in being uncomfortable and interacting with strangers. Because when you are in a coffee shop, obviously you're in customer service. You are dealing with people all day long. And a lot of those people are regulars. So you get to develop friendships and networks and, create conversation. And that was so good for me at the time. But anyways, that is a topic for a different day. So at the time, these two were in food service, and I think they did some architecture work because that's what his college degree was in, I believe. And I might have that wrong. But anyways, again, not overly important here. At the time, though, they were in a rural agricultural area. They didn't necessarily have a connection to ag or the Western way of life aside of being in Caldwell, Idaho, which is a pretty rural ag community, or it was at one time. Now it's growing. Just like everywhere in Idaho is. So it's kind of, I don't want to say it's stemming away from that. But anyways, what I'm getting behind is they did not come from a farm. They did not come from a ranch. They did not come from a rodeo family. I, Cowgirl Jessie, which is what they always called me, I was their strongest connection to the industry. And now, 13 years later, in their 40s and 50s, they both ride horses, which neither of them did at the time that we all knew each other when I worked there. Rob has started team roping. Val has recently taken up beekeeping, and Rob is also the president of Caldwell Night Rodeo. Now, that may not really sound that unique to anybody listening, but think about this for a second. Those are some big hobbies to take on, especially when you are in the middle of your life, and that's not necessarily an industry that you're from or something that you are overly familiar with. So Val told me that she went to a beekeeping group in the valley, like a beekeeping club or a society. Apparently, the way that you get into bees is you can either buy them or you can capture a swarm of bees when they show up in an unwanted place, like somebody's porch or their tree. At one time, I remember we had a swarm come and start a nest on one of our pivot towers. So she goes to this beekeeping group and they have this list that you can put your name on in case somebody has a swarm that they want removed. And Val asked if she could shadow somebody because, she was like, hey, I don't really know what I'm doing. I don't want to go alone. Can I just shadow someone to see how it's done, kind of get my feet wet and, and learn from there? Well, a few days later, she gets a text about this swarm. Long story short, it turns out that they did not have her shadow somebody. They put her name at the very top of the list because the only way you learn new things is by doing them. And she tells me, Jay, I just went and did it. I didn't know what I was doing and I was a little scared, but I just went and did it. I just went and did it. Is that just not the coolest thing? Isn't that what we all want to embody and exemplify? We want to learn something new and we're a little bit scared, but we're just going to go and figure it out and do it anyways because That's what we want to do. Who cares if we look stupid? Okay, so now for their connection to the horse side of things. So they originally started riding because a couple that they knew who were customers at the coffee shop had horses. And when I worked there, these two were just customers. They weren't necessarily like, it wasn't like Rob and Val, and these two were great friends. I remember that when they'd pull up through the window, we would chat with them a little bit longer than we would other customers, but it wasn't like they were like all close friends. So again, this is a relationship that has developed in the last 13 years. So Val started riding with the woman and she really enjoyed it. So she bought a horse and Rob started going. He loved it. He bought a horse also. And then he got into team roping. One of his close friends was also a volunteer on the Caldwell Night Rodeo Board. And while I don't know all of the details, obviously he started volunteering and now he's the president of the Caldwell Night Rodeo Board. He is an incredibly smart businessman, and I think that more rodeos need to be thought of like a true business. I'm really excited to see what he does with CNR because it's a great rodeo and it's only going to go upward with him. But again, that's probably a topic for a different day. But all of this to say, these are two people who have gone and learned new things. They have gotten outside of their comfort zone to have new hobbies, to have new friendships and networks, to get involved in things that they've never done before. And I cannot tell you how cool I think that is. Life is short. If there is something that you want to try, something that you want to learn, something that you want to do, in the words of our past guest, Katie Beal Brown, why the hell haven't you done it? I know I said this earlier, but if you're worried about looking stupid, guess what? You look stupid right now, worrying about what other people think and not following what's in your heart in what you want to do. And I will be the first to tell you, I have absolutely done the same thing. And every time I've ever done that, I was an absolute fool, which is why I am here to encourage you to chase the thing that you want. Whatever it is, I believe that you can do it. You might look silly at first, but guess what? We all do. And you actually look like a badass because you aren't worried about what people think. That is having courage and that is having confidence, and courage and confidence are so cool. So I want you guys to stop worrying about what other people think. I want you to go do the thing that you are excited about, the thing that is new that you've always wanted to try, and go be the person who comes back in my DMs and says, Jay, I just went and did it. I didn't know what I was doing and I was a little scared, but I just went and did it. Just go on and channel your inner Val because I just think that she is the coolest. They really are two of the best people. If you happen to be listening to this and you live in the Treasure Valley, make sure that if you are ever in Caldwell, Idaho, you have to go have coffee at the Java Station. It is the greatest little place. If you are a rodeo athlete and you are going to be in Caldwell for the Caldwell Night Rodeo here in a couple of weeks, again, make sure you go to the Java Station. They have the best coffee. It's the coolest vibe, clearly the best people. But anyways, I just want to encourage you guys, go do the thing that you want to do. Quit worrying about what other people think. Don't allow that to stop you. That really is the saddest thing ever. Life is meant to be lived, and you are never truly going to live your fullest, most highest potential if you are not willing to take chances and get uncomfortable and take those risks and learn new things and just follow your heart, as corny as that may sound. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. If this episode was the fire that you needed, please do me a favor and share it in your stories. Tag us in it. If you want to send me that DM that says, I just went and did it. I didn't know what I was doing. I was a little scared. I just went and did it. Please do. I want to hear from you guys. I am forever just so grateful for you. I know I say that every single time, but holy cow, you guys, I mean it. You really are just the coolest group of people, and I am very thankful for you. So with that, you guys know the drill. You can catch us back here next week.
If you loved this episode, do us a favor and share it with someone else who might find just as much value in it as you did. We're on a mission to continue to grow and strengthen the future of agriculture and Western industries, and you spreading the word helps us make more of a positive impact. It also makes a big difference when you take a minute to go rate and review the show. We can't thank you enough for listening, for sharing, and for loving Ag and Western as much as we do. We'll see you back here for our next episode.